What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by Studio One Tutorials, pick up your premium membership. It is 50 cents a day. And don't forget to stop by CMPKits.com. Get yourself a copy of Plug and Play 808's Tay Keith Edition. This beat, we're using the new pack that is coming out soon. It is based off of a whole bunch of Wheezy the Wave songs. So we kind of, I took an 808 pattern from that pack, and then the Wheezy the Wave pack is going to be coming with MIDI hi-hat patterns, about 30 of them, which is also what we used to make this beat. But the reason why you're here is because we're talking about the samples, right? So the way that I took this Roots You Got Me song is quite it took a few of my cheat codes, right? So the first cheat code is Serato sample. The thing about Serato sample is it uses Serato's pitch algorithm to be able to pitch the song. So I've pitched it up 5 semitones. I think it was sitting in like B flat or something, and then it's now an E. And then on top of that, it syncs the tempo, and it does really well when you do this with transients. So the chops that I have are these. So it's a great sampler. It's the best sampler. Like, I don't understand why it's $100 and all you guys don't have it. It doesn't make sense to me. It's so good. On top of that, like in a region like this, you could see like the snares are highlighted a certain color. It just makes it really easy to work with. So what I went ahead and did was, I took the sample in here and just chopped up those 4 sections pretty much on the downbeat, right? That's kind of the easiest way to get started with sampling. If you don't know how to chop and you don't know where to put your chops, just go ahead and insert them on the downbeat. The downbeat meaning the first beat of a bar. And you can find the downbeat just by, looking for the kicks, right? So I went ahead and did that, and I wound up with this chop pattern. I got this guy right here. And it's really easy with Serato sample when you get it working like this. And the one thing typically, like with things like using an MPC or even using Machine, you have to do like a lot of, the reason why they say that sampling is such a difficult process is because they're basing it off of the idea of using old tools. So like, for example, this loop that I have right now, this would be a trash loop if I wasn't working inside a DAW because of the way that it ends. Like that little click at the end, that would be a problem. We'd have to go in and retweak the sample and everything. But I like the way that this fell on the beat. So being that we're working in Studio One, the god of all DAWs, I was able to bounce that down, and then I'm kind of able to quantize the audio, right? So when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, okay, this is a snare, this is a snare, this there's parts of this that are going to work, and there's parts that aren't going to work, right? So if you go to the this tool right here, right, and you press 7 on your keyboard and you use the bend marker tool, we're going to go ahead and go here. Awesome thing about Studio One also is you can use the just hover over stuff and it'll tell you what it is. So show and hide bend markers here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bend marker at the beginning of the song, and then here where the snare hits, I'm going to hold down shift, and you see how now I can just click and drag and boom, quantized. All right, so now that snare is perfectly hitting over here. We'll take this guy here, That snare is hitting perfectly over here. And this is important if you're not gonna play the drums live. Like if you're just gonna program it like trap drums, this is going to be a must do, right? And then so remember how if we look at the MIDI here at this 4/3, we started a new beat, and that was or a new chop, and that was making that it was making that that really ugly pitched or that really ugly like cutoff sound. So when we look at it in the audio, and this is why I like to work in audio, you could see that this is, you know, prior to me time stretching it, when this 3 would hit, it was, you know, it was landing at a really messed up point here. So if I go to edit and let's see, I redo move bend marker, right? Now you see where it's hitting right here. That's a zero crossing point. It's going to be smooth. So I can take this second chop out of here, right? And go to my 3 tool, chop this, boom. And now what I want to do is I want to highlight this. I'm going to press Control B to bounce it. And when we listen to it now, you hear how nice that loops as opposed to this. See, so we completely got rid of that. And that's what, guys, sampling is so easy right now with the tools that we have. So and I'll show you, I'll take it even further, right? So once I had that, I went in and I just dragged this up to my chord track. Now I have the chords right here, right? So I went to you know, because this sample, it was kind of empty. So you know, we wanted to thicken it up. So here's it with. So the original song was using an EP as the kind of background for the chords. So I just went into Analog Lab, got a, you know, got a little EP, and then by using the chord track, I was able to come up with this chord progression, you know, easily. Just had it follow the chords. You guys have seen me use chord track before, and on top of that, when I wound up wanting to do the hook, I was able to add this sound from the Mellotron. And then when you drop it with the sample, and then all together. So pretty and simple and straightforward. The you know, pretty much what I want to show you guys in this video is that when you use something like Serato sample, it's very easy to put together your chops. Even if you don't have Serato sample, you could just chop on the downbeat and get it where it needs to be, even if it isn't perfect. Especially if you're chopping something that already has percussion in it, that actually can make it easier, especially if you can get it close enough to where you can then get the audio into Studio One, and then use the, the bend markers, and quantize the audio. Once you have that, then you could take that audio, move it up into the chord track, have the chord progression, put your samples surrounding it, or so I'm sorry, put your VST surrounding it, create a nice bass line that goes along with it. This bass line right here was just created from um, plug and play 808 MIDI Wheezy the Wave coming out at the in a few weeks, and just being able um, to follow the chords with the follow chord feature right here, bass. It created this bass line for us, and just was able to make a super slap out of a classic song from 1999. So I want you guys to experiment a little bit, especially if you have Serato sample. Hopefully this will show you that how useful it is. Keep it simple, do not be basic, and we will see you on the next one, fam.